Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new video. My name is Nelson from Nelcave, and today I'm going to be introducing you all to Docker, as well as explaining the importance of container technology and the difference between containers and virtual machines. So first, what is Docker? Docker is a software development platform and virtualization technology that makes it easy for software developers to deploy applications in various environments with the use of containers. So in other words, if you want to run an application in Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, you can do so with Docker and you don't have to worry about any compatibility errors. Okay, so what does this all have to do with containers and virtual machines? So one thing to note is that in a virtual machine, the resources are shared directly with the host, such that it uses computing power from your CPU, RAM, and hard drive in order to boot an entire operating system for your applications to run in. On the contrary, Docker is able to reduce your disk space usage such that it is able to reuse files efficiently by using something called a layered file system. So looking at this diagram here, we see that the virtual machine has something called a hypervisor that creates and runs the virtual machine, and it is powering up various environments a user can use simultaneously on the same server. So here we could have an environment for a Windows operating system, here for a Mac OS, and this one for Linux. This layout is definitely useful if you want to make the most out of the server you own, but sometimes it can be a bit difficult to manage all of these environments. But on the contrary, Docker containers here has something called a container engine, which is a service that runs in your background and manages the various systems you need to run your Docker container. Next up, we have our binary and libraries that are built into something called Docker images. And then the applications will reside in each of its own Docker images and then managed independently by the container engine. With this, it allows each container to be isolated within the host operating system and other containers so that this space will be saved and it will also lower boot time. Okay, so having said that, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to install an application in Docker and show you all how it functions. So I'm going to go to this website here called Play with Docker. I'm going to start this up. So one of the application I'm going to install in this Docker application is Drupal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new instance here. Okay, so following this direction, I'm going to copy this code to install Drupal. So I'm going to paste that on there. Okay, so now that I've received the objects, I'm going to do ls.la to list my directory here. Um, and then I'm going to do docker-compose, set up my configuration. Docker-compose. Okay, so without space. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to do docker-compose repeat to create an instance. Now, as this is all loading, um, I'm going to wait for this to install, but while this is installing, I could I could open a port and have it be sent to port 80. I guess I'll wait for this to load then. But what I was going to do is I was going to open the port to port 80 so I could utilize the application. But now that I see it's uh, finished downloading, I'm going to open this port here. And there you have it. I just successfully installed Drupal application into my Docker system. So in conclusion, this is an interesting application, uh, interesting alternative to use compared to the virtual machine. There are some benefits related to Drupal, and there are certain ways, certain reasons users could use virtual machine instead of Docker. But this basically concludes my video. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll be back next week for a brand new video. All right, see you.